Nose bags are a great way to feed a horse on a station. They're easy to transport because they fold up quite small. They're easy to carry. I can carry 6 or 8. When I put a nose bag on, I don't want to put it on like this because I'm in the danger zone. Because if she got a fright and suddenly got threatened by something in her face here, what's going to happen is she might strike at me and get me. So I'm going to be side on and face the same way as she's facing. So I come in here, and I'm going to nose in here, into there, there. Now that's a pretty good height that the feed's on. If anything, I'd maybe shorten this up a tiny bit. She needs to be able to have a space between her muzzle and the feed so that she's not forced up in and she can breathe properly. If it's too loose, say down like this, then she's at risk of getting it off. That might roll around her nose. See that? It's annoying her. So do it up a little bit so there's still some room there. And then she gets to eat all that feed and the other horses can't pinch it off her. So if I've been asked to go and get a nose bag for a horse, usually around, this is a 2 litre dipper, so usually around 2 litres for most horses is going to be the adequate amount of feed. It's very important to keep the feed dry so it's free of mould and also just so we can keep the mice out of it so the mice can't get in and eat the feed. So something like this is great. You can even use a bin that can do the same thing. If you have to top up the feed bin, obviously be very careful, bend your knees, keep your back straight, and use your legs more. I can tip it in. If the feed that you're feeding is a nut or a cube, then it needs either no watering down or very minimal watering down. But things like chaff and lucerne, they'll soak up a bit more water, and they can be dustier feed. So this one here, I've dampened this one down a little. You'll see it's nice and damp, but if I hold like this, you'll see that there's no water down the bottom, so it's not drowned. This feed, on the other hand, I've wet it too much, so you'll see that it's water pouring out of it. That's going to be far less palatable to the horse, and it also can leach out a lot of the goodness, so you defeat the purpose a little bit of feeding your horse. When horses are locked in for extended periods of time, like overnight or for more than a day, they obviously don't have access to food if they're locked in a yard with no feed. So this horse here, he's getting 2 biscuits of compressed hay. A fatter horse might get away with 1 biscuit of compressed hay. And this bucket feed here, contains a 2 litre dipper of lucerne, and the rest is oat and chaff. And that way the horse has enough nutrition to be able to compensate for being locked in a yard.